Hey guys, it's Nicole with Sono, and for this tutorial, we're going to be doing how to cut and blend your clip-in hair extensions. So this is a little bit more geared towards stylist, as I'm showing you as a stylist how I would on a client, but maybe it'll also give some of you at home some helpful tips or tricks to do it a little bit of yourself or have someone help you. The way that I cut and blend clip-in extensions is very similar to the way that I do professional methods of hair extensions. So there's just 4 main points we want to start with. Obviously here you can see I used a mix blend of hair extensions on her to kind of just give variety, and so you can see a little bit better. So she'll have a little bit of balayage highlights inside here as well, but we'll get started. So first I like to establish length is the first point. So as I turn her around, you know, of course, if this was your client, you would just ask, do they like it straight across, kind of rounded, or V'd in the back, whatever shape that they like, and then how much length are they wanting to preserve. So usually how I will start is just kind of taking off any of the free crazy ends. So as you can see down here, it's just straggly and kind of thin. So that'll first be what I remove. And you can use a razor or you can use your shears. It's totally up to you. I've done both. Just make sure the razor is really sharp. So going along the bottom line, I'm going to point cut. I always point cut with extensions. I never do anything else, just because it gives that nice, soft, natural line on the bottom. And if I can get on this side, same thing, just connecting the line on the bottom. So as simple as that. Obviously, as you kind of clip them up higher around the face, it will create a little bit of this face frame already anyway. So that's the first point of interest, is just establishing the length. Secondly, what I'm going to do is what is called framing the face. So any given time usually that someone has clip-ins, a ton of us have layers around our face, or at least a huge chunk of bangs that's never fully grown out, but it just is usually disconnected from your hair to the clip-in hair. So it's not necessarily like I'm making huge layers around the face, but just making that edge a little bit soft. So what I like to do is just go only from a little bit behind the ear, and starting where you can see their disconnection. So her hair ends right here and drops, and this is instantly long. So what we want to do is just softly chip away at this edge to make it a little less noticeable. And I will go into her hair just a tad, but these are just soft, either feather strokes with a razor or just notching in with your shears. So nothing crazy again, no huge layers. I'm just basically connecting what she has existing to the clip-in hair. Now, it is true that you can just buy your clip-ins and clip them in. For most people, especially if they already have long hair but it's just thin, that is totally doable. But say you did have her length and you have kind of huge disconnections like this, you can hide it by curling that piece back or other things, but for it to be just the perfect fit, it's always really nice if you can get it cut professionally. And I'm just gonna do the same to the other side. So again, right where her section ends there, I'm just gonna start feathering down the front. And just little by little, oops, she moves. Of course, you can always cut and chip away a little bit more. You just can never add it back. So I just like to go in little segments for extensions. And if they're willing to let you blend this chunk a little bit too, it's always helpful if you can kind of soften that as well. So we've done the 2 things, establishing the length and then doing the face frame. The next thing is connecting the layers. So starting in her back, I just like to take vertical sections and only really picking up that first clip-in extension, because we don't want to cut into anything else very much. And as you can see, again, the huge disconnection there from the top to the bottom. So from her hair, we're gonna do the same exact thing. Just go ahead and slide down, little tiny notches. This also looks so much more natural if you do have layering in here for your clip-ins. And it's just gonna end up making everything a little bit lighter and blending better. So vertical sections, just taking that top clip in and slowly notching downward. Okay, so I just made my way around the entire head. Especially when you get near the face, since we framed the face already a little bit, you still will have that little bit of disconnection as you saw, and I still at least notched away at that, but it's not as bad or dramatic as it is towards the back of the head, obviously. So, but it at least makes everything so much lighter, and of course her hair is even pretty a mess, but you can just tell that she has more flow, she has more airiness, and that the layers connect a lot better instead of looking like her hair and the drop down. So the last thing that I'm going to do, that I usually do also, even with professional extensions, is the little details. So the mushroom layer is what I like to call it, is just your own hair that kind of sits on top. And since hers is fairly short in comparison, sometimes the hair needs to be textured. Of course, with a mannequin, her hair's not super thick, so if it was though, I would just go in and point cut, just nice and soft, not losing any of their length or removing anything, but you would just go at least through that top layer and just kind of break it up and point cut it. Or if it is really, really blunt, and like I said, they'd be okay with you layering it a little bit so that it kind of fits in and blends. That would be the last step that I would do, and I would just do it all the way around the head. You can also do it with a razor or your shears, whatever your preference is, but that's it. It is really pretty simple. So the basic 4 steps is establish your length, make sure you do a face frame, connect all the layers, and then just finish off with your detailing and polishing. Hopefully this helped you guys as stylists out there to be able to cut clip-in extensions for your clients, or you at home too that needed some helpful tips or tricks on how to do it as well. For more tutorials, please subscribe and follow us, and we'll see you next time.